The City of Angels is black and gold. You are listening to the Heart of LAFC podcast. And now, Joseph Zacher.
What is good, everyone? It's your boy Bam here with Tony Araceli and Tyler this week. Joseph isn't going to join us today. He's got some family stuff he's got to deal with. He's got to go pick up his wife and his kids from the airport. So safe drive for that, Joseph. But welcome to episode 354, the Royal Rumble, we're calling this episode, after our nice win in the US Open Cup against New Mexico. Tony, how are you going today?
I'm doing pretty well, excited of the win and moving on to the next part of the semifinals of the US Open Cup. And the reason we called it Royal Rumble, if you haven't noted, we decided to go more old school WWF or WWE because WWF is now the World Federation, like Wildlife Foundation or whatever.
Yep.
But we decided to do it like old school, put the banners up. And if you saw, there's some interesting signs that were up again. So that is why, if you saw me, I was wearing my CM Punk shirt and, excited for this upcoming matchup with the Revenge Tour on our side. So
yes, we're doing our own Liv Morgan Revenge Tour right now. Araceli, how are you today?
Oh, I'm doing all right. I'm finally getting some sleep, so that's a good part. And I will say, now that Tony's explained kind of Wednesday's theme, that does make sense of why I was seeing like everyone holding signs. I mean, it looked cool, don't get me wrong, but I was a little confused at first. But I mean, everything's doing well. If anything, I'm just preparing for another road trip next week. So be back on the road, excited for that. Ready to see everyone back in Columbus. It's basically summer camp for us, let's be honest. So it's just going to be a lot of fun to see everyone again.
Exactly. And while we get you here, Tyler, welcome in. Introduce yourself to our fans here.
Hey, thank you guys so much for having me. I just saw the Royal Rumble notes that you guys sent, so I brought my Rey Mysterio hoodie today. I had no idea what it was about, but I got to hear it. Took a long time deciding what I was bringing to the table today. I hope that was okay.
Oh, that was
fun. And thank you guys so much for having me. I'm just some freelance writer who bounces around from sites. Right now, you'll see me at MLSsoccer.com. I mess with SBIsoccer.com, a few other sites out there as well. Got a few things in the kitchen. I'll plug all that at the end. But really appreciate the invitation, and it's really, really, really nice to meet you guys all in person. And then Araceli and I talk all the time, and happy that this was a week where you guys could plug me in, and she felt like I could add to something for once.
That's good. Glad to have you on here. Now we'll kick off straight away. We'll do a quick recap of what happened midweek. Tony, what happened in the New England game?
We
New Mexico.
New Mexico, New England, New Mexico, New England, old Mexico, old England, whichever you prefer. As in the term of Royal Rumble, WWE, WWF, WCW, we laid the smackdown on New Mexico United. Shout out to all the supporters that came out. There was a really good crowd that showed up in that little corner, going as big as it can. Love the support of everybody that did come through. But it felt honestly, it was almost not necessarily a cakewalk, but there was not that much tension. Again, coming off of a derby week, I don't think that was the problem. So I'll just get into it. So we get off quickly, 6 minutes. Tillman ends up scoring off a rebound in the box. Quick put into the self. And then in the 37th minute, Martinez finally gets back on the scoring lot after his red card / injury that put him out for a couple of months. And hopefully that gives him confidence moving forward. And in the second half, Hurst ends up scoring for New Mexico, giving one goal back. So it was down 2-1, had some life. But in a very Bogusz, style, a very banger of a goal, cut back in the back of the net. Bogusz kills it, puts the dagger in, and we end up winning and moving on to the semifinals against Seattle for the next match.
Yeah, we got Seattle. We obviously with the good win we go through, we end up facing Seattle, and if I'm correct, that's an away game to Seattle for that because I don't know the way they decide.
An away game, not at Lumen Field, by the way. We can thank Metallica for that.
Yes, no, that game will be played at their other stadium, whichever one that is. So that's going to be interesting when that comes through. And that game, I believe, will be end of August, be August 28th. So looking forward to that one. And the other game on that day is Indy 11 will playing away to Sporting Kansas City. You know, I've said multiple times on this, you know how I feel about MLS teams hosting USL teams. I think it should be the other way around always. Give the USL guys some extra money because MLS teams can travel better than the USL teams can. That's the way I've always thought about it. Moving on, Araceli, is there any news for the LAFC 2 games?
Well, actually, we do have a little update. Rosters were officially announced today for the 2024 CONCACAF U20 Championship that starts in 6 days, actually, in Mexico. Our own Luca Bambino has been called up to the US YNT, and DeCarlo Guerra and Matt Evans were selected to represent Guatemala. So, naturally, I want to say wish them all luck, but considering they're on different sides, I will keep you updated as much as I can. But aside from that, LAFC 2 does host Ventura County this Sunday at 7 o'clock in Fullerton. The match will be streamed on Apple TV if you're not able to make it. But as I vocalized in and out of every show, please do go to these games if you're able. The boys love to see the support. And we've gone over of how much the club is investing in their second team squad, especially this season, with those two signings from earlier this week. So I recommend everyone go to watch them. And plus, both teams are in the playoff running right now, so it can go either way.
That is true. Like both teams are in the playoffs, all that kind of stuff too. Definitely get out to it. You know, we are hosting. It is more of a rivalry match for us because it is the
mini El Trafico, whatever they're calling it.
Like El Traffic Chico, I think is what we called it.
Yeah,
for a
El
while.
Traffic Chico. Yes, El Traffic Chico.
Yeah, so, you know, get out there, support the boys, show them why they are in the black and gold and they are the better side of LA. Definitely get on to there. Thanks for the updates for LC2 news there. Tony, what's happening in the club and community news there?
Club and community news, of course, nothing has changed too much since the last time we were on air. The beach day cleanup is still going on. Sign up when you can. I'll link that in our socials and of course post that on our socials, and you can go to LAFC to click on to register for that. But we did get an update on the City of a Boxing, the event that we're holding with AIM, Black Army, and 3252. The new date is now September 29th at City of Boxing Gym, and it's going to be from 5 to 9. You can still make submissions. The deadline is September 15th. As you've probably seen a couple of things that have been going around socials, there is 4 decks that I'm excited about. One of our supporters has painted out of, I believe I know it's Buonga's one, Hollingshead, and Atuesta. So that is one of the things that is being auctioned off, and there's going to be a lot of more prizes and things that you could probably win in raffles there. But of course, you can always get some cool stuff that is from LA. So if you want to help out or you want to donate, just reach out to bagivesback@gmail.com. And that's about it for, of course, tailgates this weekend. Of course, it's a home game. The LAFC Fan Fest is going on for the first time. And make sure you drink water because it's going to be a hot one.
Definitely. Always got to make sure you stay hydrated, especially on the hot summer days you guys have over there, which I'll happily swap for you any day of the week right now. Moving on, Black and Gold Vinyl Club. Get into this. You know, with the I'm tossing up what we do. Should we do a wrestling song or should we chuck it over to our new host and see what his last song is he's listened to for the Black and Gold Vinyl Club this week.
Let's go to the new host. We'll put him on the spot.
Go to the new one. Yeah.
The last song I listened to?
Or whatever song you feel would be people should listen to and have, because what the original Black and Gold Vinyl Club was for music to people to reach out to, and then we've expanded to the host city or what's going on in LAFC at the general time. So, what is song should people be album or artists or songs should people be listening to?
Man, that I'm on the spot there a little bit. I like. This week's New Music Friday, like the Spotify thing, was kind of weak. That like Eminem Jelly Roll song, like I've tried to find a way to like it, but it's Eminem, so you kind of like it'll grow on you even if you don't. So I'm just gonna default and say I've been listening to a ton of Angel Dust lately. Not the most wholesome band name, but like they rip, and check out Angel Dust.
All right, Angel Dust. Let's go into that. That will be the good thing I like about this too, is that we always bring up some new music so people like not necessarily always listen to it. Like Joseph put up a band a couple of weeks ago. Which one was that, Tony? The Mexican punk band.
Oh yes, I don't remember the name right now, but I remember that one, and it was like old school style of new metal, like style from the 2000s. I just don't remember what it was, but I remember it was new metal. I have to go back into my notes. Sorry.
That's it.
Yeah. So like the Black and Gold Vinyl Club for us is we always try and shout out new bands, something like that, or something that we haven't listened to in a long time. As Tony said, try and get into what the whole feel of the club is or where we're going, playing all that kind of stuff to try and find unique and interesting bands from over there. All right. Before we get into the next lot of the match previews for the Columbus coming up, let's see what comments we have on there. We have Philly from Defenders of the Bank in the chat. What's up, Philly? Now, Araceli, this one is directed straight at you. SKC or LAFC?
Remember what pod you're on, by the way.
I could have already answered him this on Instagram. I'm just going to say no comment and default to Tony's statement he loves to tell me every time.
Choose a side, sir. Ma'am. Choose a side, ma'am. Choose a side.
Dave Gomez in here. Hello from Amsterdam. Hope everything's well over there. David Day with the sup. Oh, here's one from David Gomez. Who will win the Golden Boot, Denise or Matty? The way it's going at the moment, I'm going to say Matty.
I think it could be Bouanga. I think Bouanga still has the race for that. Matty still is catching up, but I think it's going to be Bouanga. What about you, Araceli?
I feel like it's going to be Maddie.
Tyler, what is your opinion on this one?
I don't know, like
outside.
who cares about the team Golden Boot? And it's like when Giroud arrives, or like if Griezmann arrives, like whose work will, like who's gonna have anything to do? Like who's gonna, like, you know what I mean? Like, whose minutes is he gonna take away more of? You know what I mean? Like, what is Bogusz? Like, is Bogusz in the 11 if like you get Griezmann and Giroud?
Yes, yeah. He is. It's just more.
Does he go back to like playing an 8 or something?
Yeah, that's his more natural role. He loves playing an 8.
Will he score 10 goals, like 10 more goals if he has to go all the way back there? It'd be sick if he did. But
I think he saw the way. I think the way it's set up for that. I think he will, because he likes to be more in the action instead of because it goes right now. We're doing the setup without Oliveira, of course, because he's in international duty and maybe coming back sooner than usual because Uruguay got knocked out, and so because with Giroud coming in, Griezmann is. It's like right now we don't even know where he's going, if he's staying, if he's not even going to come to MLS or he'll go to another team. It would be Bouanga, Giroud, Oliveira. You would pull back Bogusz back into the midfield as, like, I would say an 8. And then that's when the question comes into who goes into the midfield and like the change up on that. So that's where it is. And I can still see him scoring goals from there. But again, with Giroud there, I don't know how much the opportunity is that. Ooh, yeah. Thank you, Philly. I forgot about that. I forget there's a third place game, even though I love the rant of the coach just yelling at how bad the field conditions are. So that's a concern for 2 more years of just field and grass.
My final vote will be Bawanga, just for the record. Just had to toss that nuke in there to just at least stir up it a bit.
Definitely. Dave Gomez coming to say the day. Ladrones was the band from a couple of weeks ago, so definitely go check them out. Booing Araceli from Philly. And as I said, Uruguay does have a third place playoff game tomorrow at 5 for you. So that's 10 a.m. for me, I believe. So that's not too bad. We'll watch that, then I'll flick over to the LFC game. So that's all the comments so far. Keep hitting those comments in there. Let us know what's been going on. Let us know your thoughts, especially coming up to the next game that we're going to do. Getting into it, let's preview the Columbus Crew game. We're playing them this Saturday.
Sunday Australian time.
Yep, Sunday my time. So nice midday game for me, which is perfect. I can sit there, crack up my first beer for a Sunday at midday. Take that definitely. Looking at Columbus, they are on a roll at the moment. They are third in the East as we speak. 20 games played, 11 wins, 6 draws, 3 losses. Tony, who on Columbus do we have to look out for?
Well, of course, with the return of Diego Rossi, of course, he's always a person to watch out for, of course. Kuko is the other one, who's been really their breadwinner. But I am actually going to go very rogue on this one and say I was going to say, what's his name? Martinez is, if I remember right, the one that went overseas and we didn't think he was any good, doing great, and then came back, went to Columbus and won a championship with them, if I remember right. Hold on, excuse me while I look up Ramirez. Sorry, not that Ramirez. There you go. Ramirez is the one. So Ramirez is, I feel like, the dark horse to watch out for in this lead up to it for the revenge match. And of course, it's Rossi's, I believe, first game back. So we'll see how people will acknowledge him when he comes back.
Yes. It's going to be interesting when he comes back. Obviously, first game back in LA since he did leave us and had to go for a little adventure overseas before coming back to MLS. Look at some of the stats for there. Obviously, Hernandez has the top scorer for them at the moment. Diego Rossi with the most assists. Christian Ramirez is there. Rossi's got almost double-digit goals for him as well, sitting on 7. They are a good squad. They have a lot of players that can hurt us and with the counter-attacking like that too. They are missing 2 players. Got Evan Bush out with an arm injury and Ross Rowe on international duty. So obviously been missing them for the last couple of games. So not really much to do in there. Between us and them, there isn't that much difference between the two teams. They're sitting third in the East. We're sitting first in the West. Overall on the table for the Supporters Shield, we're third. They're 6th, but they've got at least 3 games in hand on Inter Miami and 2 games in hand on Cincinnati. Looking into it, Araceli, what's one thing that we have to do to make sure that we keep the winning ways going?
I think one of the things that LAFC needs to keep an eye out for is not only watching Columbus try to attack on the counter, but try to tighten the spaces, especially on the wings. Because yes, Cucho and Ramirez seems to be the obvious answers, but to me, I'm looking at Farsi and Max Arston because they seem to favor the wings and kind of attacking up I believe it's the left wing more specifically. But I think that as long as LAFC is able to just keep an eye out for them, even in their blind spots, they theoretically should be okay. But with that being said, I'm going to actually throw it over to Tyler. What have you seen different with Columbus's squad this season compared to the last time we saw them at MLS Cup?
I'll kind of say the fact that not much is different and they're the defending champions is kind of the best thing you can say about them. So like looking at the cup final in 2023 and what they're going to probably trot out on Saturday, my prediction here is that you're only going to see two different starters in the starting 11. One would be Alexandre Matan in place of Aiden Morris, who just went to Middlesbrough. And then Yevon Shaburko will be starting in place of Malty Adminson. That's it. Everybody else is the same. So you guys already know and love, this team so much. And, you can remember how this matchup went. So you're looking at a team that has won 8 of their last 9. They in CONCACAF, that could have been a real spirit breaker. They didn't have much of a hangover, and they have just been absolutely humming since then. As you guys have all, I think everybody's just talked about Cucho, just like how he's been incredible. And then like the younger guys like coming in. Arsenal wouldn't have started in Cup last year, but yeah, absolutely incredible. Once again, Nancy Ball is killer. And yeah, I don't think that like stylistically you're looking at a team that is completely different than what you saw last year, but not a lot of teams, at least in MLS, have had a lot of success breaking it down and like beating them, especially like after CONCACAF, now that they're not conserving for that. So there's that. And then I think like one other thing to point out, though they do have the games in hand, as Bam has said, they have only conceded 18 goals. I think LAFC might be right behind them with like 2 more games played, but like their nearest competitor would be like 23 or 24 goals. So they're really hard to score against, and they're like really active. You know what I mean? Like they'll let you have the ball, but you also can't score against them. So it's like, what do you do with that? We could talk more about it, but it's like, that's just so many questions,
Yeah, there's so many questions to go down and break it down to. Like, obviously, with LAFC, we are missing this week. Tillman's missing this week because of the too many yellow cards he's picked up. Yep. Obviously, Oliveira still on international duty. Lorenzo is still out injured, as he's been out for quite a while now. Hopefully, the injury's coming back good, so he'll be back to us very soon. So knowing all that kind of stuff and knowing that we are against Columbus, who has only ever beaten us once, which was in the Cup final, what do you think our starting lineup would be, starting with the back line? Araceli?
Starting with the back line, we're still going to have Urice, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's not gone yet. Okay, so he would be in goal. I see... I feel like Chanel and Segura are going to be the center back pairing. On the wings, Hollington and Campos? That's kind of I feel like not necessarily a hard question, but you can go so many ways about this.
Tony, what's your back line going to be?
I'm going to go with Murillo. Again, still a little young, still young enough to come back to back, but we shall see. Because again, we are in a gauntlet. After this game, we have to go straight back. We have to play another game this Wednesday against Real Salt Lake, and that's a battle for first. So we'll see with that. But I think it's going to be Murillo. I would Chanel, Hollington, and Palencia would be my starting back.
Yeah, I reckon that's the best starting back. Tyler, do you have any thoughts on what LFC's starting lineup might look like?
No, I mean, you guys are the experts on this team, and it's just such a weird time of year. You know what I mean? It's like it's cup season, as you said. Like they could conserve, they could just go out for it. I would like to see their best 11. I think this should be a statement game. So whatever the best they can put out. I looked at their injury report, nothing crazy. I think I just saw one guy on it, so they should all be fit enough, but we never know what Steve would be thinking about a game like this, and he might try and pull some tricks, make it not as predictable as the Columbus side might think it is, and play those games with them.
100%. Now, looking at the midfield, obviously we know Tillman won't be playing due to the cards, so for me, I'm going to go midfield of Ilie, Atuesta, and Bogus is going to drop into the midfield for me. Tony, who's your midfield?
Let's see, with Tillman out, okay. I may go a little bit creative. So let's see, it'd be Atuesta, of course, Ilie. I'll bring back Bogusz for the back of it. I think, like I said last time, I think I'll bring him back, and then the forwards is where I'll get creative.
Araceli, how about your midfield for LAFC?
I see Atuesta, Ilie, and Bogusz.
Yeah, I think we're all agreeing on that one. You know, Bogusz is that perfect player to be able to drop back for there. Tony, your forward line. Who you got up top?
So, of course, the obvious is going to be Bouanga. And I think Kai gets the start again. I know he did end up starting, but I think he gets a start with limited minutes. And then I would probably, to keep his confidence up, and since he has the confidence, Martinez moving forward for that, and then have either Ordaz come in later on.
Araceli?
I agree with Tony on that one, because I do see Dolo kind of keeping the same starting three from the previous match, just like how Tony said, to keep up the confidence, keep up the levels. But much like he said as well, Kamara only being limited minutes.
Yeah, I'm going to throw a little bit different here. I was going to have Bouanga and Martinez start. I think Kai Kamara is going to start on the bench, and they're going to have Unhill start up top as well. So for top will be Bouanga, Unhill, and Martinez for me. That's what I'm going to go with. Then at halftime, bring on Kai Kamara. I think going into the second half against this Columbus team, having that tall body who can run for that second half and get up while the Columbus Crew are tiring would be the best option for us to going forward. That as I said, this is just all our opinions going into all that kind of stuff. So what we think is going to happen, we'll see on the day. We don't know what Dollar is going to do, because some of those things are some of the great things that he can do, and sometimes we sit there and go, okay, he did that.
I have a question for Tyler. So I know this is a LAFC podcast, and it's like we focus just on that and stuff. But for overall in the league, what does this change for just the league in general, like from an outsider going in?
The winner gets the men's national team job. Like that's the first person to leave the league this year, like in good terms. In all seriousness, though, I think that I was listening to somebody else talk about this game, and they were kind of like poo-pooing the idea of it being a 6-pointer. I completely disagree with that. I don't know how you guys view the supporter shield, knowing that it's something that you've already won. But I think that this is the summer of soccer. This is MLS's, biggest year ever. If you can be in that race, you should be in it. And this is a perfect opportunity to bring an Eastern Conference team back down, kind of to your stratosphere. And maybe, when you look at the rest of the schedule, LAFC, we'll get into some of that in a second. Simply put, you lost a trophy to this team last year. You got to beat them. You know what I mean? What do you do if they beat you twice? And I think this year's LAFC is stronger. There's no aging Carlos Vela weighing you down. I just like this LAFC a lot better. This is probably it's not a bad Columbus Crew at all. I think very highly of them. And I think the only reason they're not higher in the standings is because of the games in hand that they have. They very, very well could be in first or second place right now. But they might be at a little bit of a talent deficit compared to last year's team. So this is a completely fair fight in a statement game for LAFC, and they can take all of the power if they win it, knowing that they've got some other insane games coming up. So I know that I went 10 directions with that question, Tony, but you jump on to whatever point you want, and we can kind of pick apart or peel back the onion there. Cause I do think the rest of the season, there is something worth talking about for LAFC, and how even the Eastern Conference beating up on each other is relevant as well.
No, that's like I said, I wanted an overall one because we can go into the nitpicks of it, like because like I said, 6 points for not just us for moving forward for first place in the Supporters Shield, but again, I know it affects the Eastern Conference because as we were talking earlier, the schedule for just if you just count for our schedules, what we play for what was it like? What was it, Tyler? For just with the schedules of like how many matchups do each of the we'll just say these are like the four teams like Miami, us, Cincinnati, and Columbus. Like
So like if
how
there's
much?
6 teams in the Supporters Shield race, like the 3 in the West are LAFC, Salt Lake, and Galaxy. You guys have another game with each of them, right?
Mhm.
And then in the East, it's Columbus, Cincinnati, Miami. They all have to play each other. And then, by the way, LAFC has to go out of conference and play Cincinnati on September 28th as well. For like another just like random game that they're not going to get every year, that like if you are in the Shield race at that time, which like knowing that the East, like these teams are just going to keep beating the crap out of each other. Presumably when Miami gets back at full strength, they're not going to have teams beating them 6-1 week in and week out. And they'll kind of like get, not only those points back, but maybe those goals back, knowing that it's probably going to come down to that in a year like this. If LAFC wants to do everything it can, just knowing that like the East is just going to be a bit stronger, and like maybe like the bad teams in the East are allowing like the good teams in the East like just run away with it so much more than like the West is. These are the things that they can do to say that they controlled what they could and just rise to the occasion, like win this game and then coming to Cincinnati, on 9/28 and winning that game too. I mean, oh my God, if they beat the Crew and Cincinnati, what does that do for your confidence heading into the playoffs? What is Miami to you at that point? You know what I mean? Like if you've already beaten Cincinnati and Columbus, like in the regular season.
Well, Miami is, of course, it's a team to beat because of just who the name is on there and everything. Of course, it's like they were supposed to be when they first came in the new, new team, the new person like Garber would put into it. Now with Messi, of course, they've become that with the new roles and of course the financials of how it's been playing it back again. There's a way to do it, and they're figuring out a way. Who knows? Maybe in the background we'll find out more things that there were sketchy stuff, but who knows? It's going to, like I said, it's as I said earlier, as Bam and RSLE can also attest to, if we don't win today or beat one of the Cincinnati team to knock them out, because again, Cincinnati's on right now, as they posted, on point to break the points leading record for the season. So that means if we don't win here or beat Cincinnati, more than likely, if we make the run through the playoffs, we are going back to Ohio. And in my opinion, I think we are going to Cincy if that happens.
Yeah, going back to Ohio isn't the greatest for us. We know our records there lately have not been the best. Cincinnati are having the better season over there, I find, with the players they've got. They're a point ahead of Inter Miami with a game in hand still, so they got that over them. Just look at Columbus Crew's next couple of games after us. They've got Charlotte, who, yes, they're in the playoffs in the East, but they're a comfortable one, so that should be a good one. After that, they got Atlanta. That's going to be a tough game because obviously Atlanta are pushing to try and stay in the playoffs. They're just outside the playoffs there. And then after that, they have a international friendly against Aston Villa.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot about that.
I have no idea why they're doing that. I bet that's Columbus Crew 2 versus Aston Villa.
No, see,
like what we see on the field, you know what I mean? Like if I'm Columbus Crew, with Leagues Cup, with everything else, I don't need my guys getting our butts kicked by a Premier League team for no reason right now.
But at the same time, no, they're not having to play they're already through to the knockouts for the Leagues Cup. So
right, yeah, so they do get a bit of a break. That's useful. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
So would you put your strong team in that so they can have a decent hit out going into the Leagues Cup?
Good point. Yeah.
So they got that going through. Cincinnati, with their fixtures coming up, They got Charlotte this week, so that should be a win for them. Then they play Chicago and then New York Red Bulls before the League's Cup. So looking into the League's Cup, they're playing New York Red Bulls sitting fourth, so they're obviously pushing to try and stay up as high as they can to get home games. And then the other team they're playing was it Chicago. It's Chicago, really.
I wish that for just the sake of just that, I wish they were better. Like I remember when they were decent, and I'm not saying like with Bob Bradley and everything, but just I remember when that was a decent, and the supporter culture was pretty decent there. There was, again, stuff in the background made that end. I'll say that in the best possible way because I have two people from the head office, so I have to play nice for today's episode. So I wish that was done better, but like I said, it's make or break. Again, we have 2 games in hand. We have to make up the Houston game, which is, I think still flooding. Still, we can still make a canoe. Maybe we'll play water polo for the day. Who knows? But yeah. So again, it's the matchup of like this could be. I could potentially see this being the Final Four again: Cincinnati versus Crew, and then us versus RSL. So these next 2 games is very kind of confidence-wise for both. I know Columbus wants to come in to kind of shut down the process of like, just because we won the chip at home doesn't mean we can win. We can win also away as well. So I know they want to cut us back for that. But
100% for them, it's also a statement of they can win. They can beat us, who's obviously one of the top teams in the West. They can beat us at home or away. That's what they want to do. So this game here, I don't see it being a high-scoring match.
No predictions.
I don't see both teams trying to play it for a draw either. All teams will be going for the 3 points because, as we've been saying, it is a massive game for the Supporters Shield. It's a massive game for them in the East and for us in the West, keeping that us in top spot in the West and giving them one step closer to Inter Miami, who do have this week off, and try and get closer to Cincinnati too. So this game is for me, it is the game of the round on the MLS. Plain and simple. If you're not a fan of LAFC or Columbus, you still got to watch this game just to see what's going to happen overall in the Supporters Shield standing.
What are the vibes over there in Ohio, Tyler? Because I know you said I know you're in Cincy, not in Columbus, but like, what are the vibes just with this game coming up?
It's huge. I mean, like, just like in the little MLS bubble, you know what I mean? Like, this is just kind of like LAFC. I mean, like, how many weeks has it been of just like them being in huge games, right? Like they're like a heavyweight fighter, just like on an incredible run right now. It's really huge. I think this one does get drowned out a little bit, just with like the Euro final, Copa America final. But like what won't get drowned out is the effects of this. Like there will be talking points, and also this game happening on normal people hours, 10:30 p.m. Eastern time. That's going to be good entertainment for a large part of the country. So I do think that there will be a lot of people like switching over to that. Like it is just prime time. Like when like the 7:30 games are over, there will be just like a large swath of people just like, okay, my game's over. I have Apple TV. I am tuning into this. So it wouldn't shock me even if, little old Ohio, like the Cincinnati crowd starts chiming in because they absolutely hate Columbus. You're going to have a bunch of fans, you know what I mean? Like the LAFC fans will be one with the Cincinnati fans who are very vocal on Twitter. You know what I mean? Like you're going to see them and you're going to be allies for a day until you suddenly aren't later in the season. So yeah, I think that like, I don't know, man. Like if you are a fan of a club, like who is in like the top 6 in this Supporters Shield race, like I really don't think you can turn your attention off of it. Like even if you can't watch it live, like you're going to be somebody who's at least watching it through your phone and like seeing what happens, like updating the score. It's just too big. Bam, you said it's like the game of the round. I think that like as far as the regular season goes, and like knowing that everybody doesn't play everybody, I mean, apart from like the obvious like draw of it being like, the championship game rematch, like this is gonna be like one of the top 3 games that doesn't involve Messi like the entire season. You know what I mean? Like no matter what happens, even if it's like a painfully boring 1-0 game and the winner gets it off of like an absolute BS corner, like the importance of this game is still going to be like it's going to send a shockwave. You know what I mean?
Oh, definitely. I'm just looking up who the referee for the game is too. It's
No. This is Bam's specialty, by the way, Tyler. He knows. Like,
do we have our favorites? I take it, or like
yes,
we have.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
we do.
It gets deep.
Well,
It gets-
we do have Lucas Spala taking over this game. You may remember him from our 1-0 win at home against Dallas. He also had our 1-1 draw last year against at home to Quakes. We haven't lost with him, while Columbus, for example, how many games he's done for Columbus? He has done 4 games for him. They've won 1, drawn 1, and lost 2. So, looking at those stats, he does prefer us over Columbus. So that could be in our favor, but time will tell.
I will say though, Columbus had a run where they were just playing terribly, like in the run up to CONCACAF. Like they were not good. They went like 6 games without a win at one point, and they were just like all in a funk. So I don't know, like that record with them, it could have just been during that time too.
No. So the only win that they had with this referee was their 2-0 win in the first leg against Atlanta last year in the playoffs.
Okay, far enough back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so far enough back. And, he was also the ref in the opening round last year when they got thumped 4-1 by Philadelphia.
I remember that one.
Good. I'm glad someone remembers that one. So, yeah, so is that ref, so I'm happy with that. The other names on there, the VAR, Soren Stokoka. He is who he is. We'll see what he does this time around for us. Looking into all that, we'll go back through with some of the comments. There's been a few more comments on there, so let's see what we have in here. Here we go. From Philly, Cucho, Rossi, Ramirez, 23 out of the Crew's 40 goals this season. So, yeah, there's 3 main guys we'll look out for. Mendo coming in with plenty of might have something to say about that. Mendo's loving the Friday night podcast. Saturday afternoons are good. Wants to know when we'll see Philly losing his voice in the 32-52. He was there last year for a game, was he, Tony?
He gets 1 game. He comes in 1 game for a year, but I know he's been pretty busy with everything he's been doing recently. So when we see him there, go say hi. He loves it in there as well, as you know what I mean.
But just to kind of answer that real quick, yeah, he was in the 32-52 last year in Columbus at the final.
Yes,
I remember seeing him.
Yeah, Mendo coming in tomorrow's going to feel like a playoff match. Exactly. This is as close to a playoff match in the middle of the season as there is. Mendo coming in with Bonga has penalty shots on lock. What about free kicks? Who do you prefer taking free kicks?
It's depending on who has the vibe for it. You know what I mean? That's how it always is with like who's feeling it. That's how it always been. Like it's either Boanga or Bogush. Matuasa can take it as a free kick. So we have very good specialists on that. But it always goes off who's feeling it, who wants to take it, and ego. Like it's an ego chow.
Yeah, exactly. And it's also like, is it the right side of the box, left side of the box? Are we thinking we're going to go straight for goal? We're going to go for a cross in, all that kind of stuff. Mendo saying that we have a number 9 this time, unlike December last year. I can see how it goes. Oh, here's a good one for you, Tony. How will Rossi be received tomorrow?
All right. So, yes. Did he score the first? He has scored the first goal for us and everything. I think me personally, it's game time. I will, give him his flowers for before the game starts. I don't want him seeing him in the north end. I'm sorry. You're an opposition player. I don't care. Like, good for you, but I will give you your flowers and that's about it. But the north end, I kind of don't want to see you around there, everything like that. It's just me and stuff like that. But again, I still am a little bitter that he beat us for a cup. So that's my 2 cents on that.
Yeah, for me, like all respect in the world for him. If I was there during warm ups, if he comes over and claps the 30-52, obviously clapping back and all that, he'll always have my respect until he decides to celebrate a goal in front of us. He celebrates in front of us scoring a goal, then that's where the respect ends there. He's got all my respect. He scored the first goal for us in Seattle. I was there for that game. That was an amazing trip. But for me, it just comes down to he'll always have my respect for being one of the best that we've had in our team until he does something to lose that respect for me. And that's how it goes for me. Hopefully, another one from me. Hopefully, we'll have needed Columbus having E. coli to defeat them. Obviously, going.
The final.
Going to the final. All right. That seems like all the comments from everyone so far. This is a nice, short, quick one. Next thing, we always do, we always get into final thoughts. Araceli, we'll start with you. Final thoughts before we end this episode?
My final thoughts are simple, just like every home match. Just please do not be stupid. Please. This is a huge game, as we've well established throughout this episode. It is going to be the most watched, or I at least like to think it will be the most watched, not only throughout the league, but just throughout all the supporter, the fan basis, of course. So always have a plan B, whether that's Uber or a friend, and just look out for each other, support each other, and have fun, of course.
Exactly. Tyler, I've got your final thoughts. Also, let us know where we can look you up online these days.
Yeah, I really appreciate the invitation today. It's been a blast. My name is Tyler Snipes. You can find me currently at MLSsoccer.com, largely in the background, but they do let me write the occasional thing. Did a fun one last week. Got a few things coming up where I'll be a little bit more visible. On Twitter/X, I'm at Snipes Tyler. On Instagram, I'm at Tyler Snipes. And barely use it, but I do kind of like come out of the woodwork when I, do have stuff that I'm publishing, and I, like a little conversation there. So there's that. And then I don't know what my final thoughts are. It's just like I'm just ready for this game. I'm also ready for the 13 other games. Kind of like as Araceli said, it's just like it's that fun time of the year where we kind of like have our eye on everything, and like this is just one of those just great games. So I just hope everybody can enjoy it, enjoy the entire weekend, and then obviously with this one being the headliner, it's just like don't let the Copa America, don't let the Euro drown it out. Stay sober enough, stay up late, watch this game. This is important. You know what I mean? Like, don't get blasted at noon or whatever time it is in LA. Like, this is the one for you,
Speaking of the Copa and the Euros, who's your pick? Who's winning them?
I don't really have strong opinions. I love it every time England loses. So I'm just going to draw that side of the fence. And then for Copa, maybe this is a question for the group. Like, do you guys find yourself like more or less of a fan of Messi now that he's in MLS? Like now I want to see Colombia win. I don't know why, but like any other time I would have just been rooting for Messi, but like now suddenly he's just like a villain to me. And I've never felt like that before in my life.
I'll start off. I kind of want Colombia just because of like their whole like the way they've been going through the cup and the way they've been like pushing through, especially after last game where they scored the opening goal, had to battle, with 10 people on the field for them, and ended up winning. And so I feel it's like more meaningful. Like Messi's already won that he needed to win, stuff like that. Like this is just trying to cement his place in history in Argentinian lore. But I'm leaning more towards Colombia. I'm sorry. Like Messi is like I have friends who are Argentinian, and like as everyone knows, I have a Messi Argentinian jersey, but that was for a bet because I said I would buy a jersey for that because of my coworker. But I am going more towards Colombia on that one.
Makes two of us. Let's go around the horn there. I want to, let's hear what everybody says.
For me, it is like I'm hoping for Colombia. I'm hoping for England loss for the same reason for both of them. Really, is I have a lot of mates, I know a lot of people, all that kind of stuff that become insufferable when their teams win. So obviously, I don't want England to win because it's England
and you're Australian.
And I'm Australian too. And can you imagine social media when England do win a major tournament? How insufferable that will be.
I don't want to imagine it. No,
exactly.
Have they ever won anything like since like we've all been adults on Twitter? Like, have they won anything like Twitter's
no, the closest one was last year when they were in the final against Italy, and the best thing that came out of it, and I have that Italy jersey, is instead of it's coming home, it's coming Rome. So that was it. But they haven't won any major tournaments since I've been on this earth, and that's been
so we've never had to live through that, and I don't want to. Yeah,
exactly. And you remember how it was like when Messi won the World Cup, you know, how all the don't get me wrong, congratulations, did all that kind of stuff, all that too, but some of the fans, I don't want to see them celebrate like that again. I just for that, I want Colombia and I want Spain to win. So for me, that's how I look at it, is for someone that have that much invested interest in it, who do I want to win because of their fans, pretty much. That's the way I look at it.
For me, I have to say for the Euros, I'm rooting for Spain just because, as you guys pointed out, England would be absolutely insufferable if they were to win. As for Copa America, I'm just going to say this. Canada, to me, is the real winner. I cannot stand Argentina or Colombia for anything. So I honestly don't care because, for obvious reasons, of Argentina and Colombia, I just cannot stand James Rodriguez. I really can't. So
incoming Atlanta star.
But the only thing I will say about Copa very quickly, just like how I said, for our match tomorrow, please don't be stupid. Watch out for each other. That also derives from the last Copa America match that we kind of saw the aftermath of the entanglement with the drunken fans and the players and staff. And as you guys know, I did have the opportunity to work for Combo for 2 weeks. So to watch people that I worked with personally get into that scuffle, it just broke my heart because I don't like seeing anyone I care for getting hurt. Thankfully, they're okay. I did check in with them, but that's just scary to watch.
Oh yeah, by the way, 100%. I'm going for Spain. That's my other heritage I'm from. I'm very mutt, so Spain is the other I would go for more, even though I am a product of what happens with European culture. Let's just say.
I mean, arguably so am I, but still.
All right, Tony, your final thoughts going into this weekend?
My final thoughts. Thank you, Tyler, for joining us tonight. I know it's a late night, especially for us, especially for you guys as well. Would love to have you back on. Hopefully next time you're on, you can have Joseph and you guys can battle of the minds with that, and we can just sit back and watch that go on for a 5-hour pod. We're going to be waiting for that one. Again, be responsible. Drink a lot of water. It's going to be a hot one. Again, it's been like 100 degrees out here. So just make sure you stay hydrated. It's going to be a long tailgate if you get there early. Besides that, always a segue right into Bam. Watch out for people. Make sure you have conversations, because why, Bam?
Mental health is a major thing. I always go on there every episode, and I'll keep doing it for every episode I'm on here. It's okay to not be okay. Reach out to your friends, reach out to your family, go have a coffee, go watch the Euro final, go watch the Copa America's final, go for a walk, do something, get out there, stay hydrated, look after each other. Mental health is major. Every day we're losing people that we love, people that we care about, and we don't want to see that anymore. Conversations can save a life, so make sure you do that. Again, Tyler, thank you very much for coming on this weekend for this episode. When we do get Joseph back and get you on here, it'll probably be a 3-part series we end up doing. We'll go on a deep rabbit hole, not just MLS, but we'll do world football too. We'll get into all that kind of stuff. We'll get into like how great USA is at the moment in the football. We get on how well they're going.
I was gonna say I'm not gonna add a chapter to the podcast, but I love that nobody bit on the Nancy Cherundolo winner gets the men's national.
Yeah,
I love that just fell flat, and nobody has to say anything. I love that like nobody went there with me.
Oh, we already knew where that was going. That could have been a long conversation, and we got to an hour and a half. But yeah, that's why we let that one go, because I know that's on everyone's mind. Is going to be Columbus is Nancy, is going to be Nancy, is going to be fucking Cherundolo. But again, we'll see.
And then the loser, or no, sorry, yeah, the winner, their coach gets raptured, and then Greg Berhalter now has to coach your team. So do you really want to win that bad? Do you really want to win the game that bad now? Those are actually my final thoughts. But thank you guys so much again for having me. I will mercifully shut up now. See you guys.
All right, again, thank you very much for all that kind of stuff. To everyone in the chat, thanks for being here with us. We love doing all this for you guys. We love doing this, just getting here, chatting about football, chatting about LAFC. That's what we're here for. Going into it, final words, Araceli.
Stay golden.
Tyler.
Nothing more from me.
Tony.
Stay golden, Los Angeles.
And from me to all you guys, stay golden, Los Angeles.
Thank you for listening to the Heart of LAFC. Make sure to leave us a rating and review on iTunes or Stitcher. Shoulder to shoulder, the black and gold is taking over.